McDavid. Moves in, McDavid goes upstairs! What a goal!
Hey guys, how's it going? It's Etanyos here. Welcome to episode number 18 of this NHL 21 Edmonton Oilers Franchise Mode here in Oil Country. If you guys are new to this series, make sure you go up and click on the top card there in the corner. It will send you to the entire playlist so you can catch up on whatever you missed. Also, make sure you go down below, drop a like if you enjoy the video. Also, feel free to subscribe. We're trying to hit that 1,000 sub goal, and I know we can do it by the end of the year. Also, make sure you leave comments to possibly get featured, and also turn on notifications to never miss a video. So guys, in today's episode, we have got a couple interesting topics to cover. The first one being the 2026 draft class. Looking like there is going to be a defenseman at the top of it, Yuri Gogolev. Very Russian name, no question about that. But lots of defensemen as well. It is a defenseman heavy draft. And, well, we're playing a pinch and shoot system right now. So if any of these guys have a pinch and shoot system fit, we very well might be intrigued to go out and try and trade up. We have a lot of assets right now to do so as well. And the other thing that we do need to cover besides that is maybe some contract extensions, but mainly just the 2025/26 season. Something else I found pretty funny here is that the Portland Pylons signed Henrik Lundqvist. He's still around in 2025/26. So let's just sim to the regular season. We're not going to spend too much time messing around here. I've already gotten a bunch of scouting done off camera, and really we're just waiting to see how the team is looking more so than anything else. All this boring stuff here with owner mode, because I like playing on owner mode. It's just realistic. I've explained this before. If you've missed those episodes, again, go back and watch them. But today, we are going to see possibly a franchise defenseman at the top of the class. That would be something we have not really seen in a long time. Actually, I don't think we've seen a franchise defenseman in this series yet. I don't know if I've even seen one in NHL 21 yet, honestly, guys. It's been a while since I personally, I'm sure other people have seen franchise defensemen, but here we go. And Yuri Gogolev's just an elite defenseman. Okay, so, still a good defenseman, no question about that. He's a pinch and cycle. Okay, possible pinch and shoot OFD there in Bruce Sanders. That is an interesting one. We're going to just scout him out again here. Justin Cameron still got a scout report going. Same with Isaiah Eminger. Besides that, maybe one good player here. Nope, Jamie Lee. Not much. Ooh, Ruslan Artyurkin, maybe, though. He looks like a power forward in the top 10. And one-year ETAs are always interesting. Player number 4? You have him ranked at what? Our scouting's a little messed up, to say the least, I would say. But really what the goal with the Oilers is for the regular season is to try and finish top of the league, at least top of our conference. That is kind of what our setup has, or our coaches have laid out for us to do, or management, I guess. That's what they want to see from us anyways. So I think the team that we have is capable of doing that. It's a fantastic team, no question. But the one other topic that is intriguing is some more, big deals here that we could make with the team. Really, you're going to drop William Eves from a 90 rating all the way back down to an 85. I may as well have made those trades at the end of last episode. That's stupid. I'm sorry. So, yeah, not impressed with that. Wow. Just absolutely crushed my morale in preseason. Thank you, you stupid game. Okay. Yeah, that team looked way better. Draisaitl dropped 4 ratings. McDavid dropped 3. Vrana dropped 5. Eves dropped 5. Like, what the heck? Same with Puljujarvi. That's a -5 in morale. What the heck? But the other thing I want to cover here is, at least moving one of these two defensemen if the team doesn't perform to the best of their abilities. So essentially, if we're not like top of the league by halfway through the season, we're going to look to make a move with Shillington and Seider. The other option we do have right now is down in the AHL. I actually have Lucas Strimbu scratched. We're going to call him up here. He's going to be a backup piece to start this season. So that's where he's going to be. We're trying to essentially just grow his value to trade him off by the end of probably this year. That would be my assumption. But who knows what's going to happen exactly. And of course, Strimbu can go in and potentially replace Oliver Shillington as an offensive defenseman. But we are going to get into the simulation here. I'll be back with you guys at we'll probably do quarters this season. So I'll be back at every kind of 20 to 21 game point here. But one more thing here, I just want to show you guys how, really good looking this team is for Edmonton here. We have got 95 offense, 92 defense, and 84 goaltending. So comparing that to previous seasons, better offense, better defense. Goaltending's taken a slight drop off just based on the backup being a little bit lower, and of course Ilya Samsonov dropping off a wee little bit there too. But overall, this team is still just going to be very good, and should be a fun season here, hopefully, for the Oilers as we get in through the sim. Okay, guys, so at the first quarter mark of the season, so 21 games in about, Draisaitl leads the team 22 points. Edmonton is just off the mark here, a game behind there on Winnipeg, who just seemed to put a ton of wins together there. And really, it's just the overtime losses. If we'd won or lost 2 more in overtime, we'd be right there. So yeah, the team just has to, grind away a little more in those tight games and, get it to overtime at least, get those extra points. And the one thing I did want to show you guys, well, 2 things. One, Ilya Samsonov's gone down with an injury right as we hit this first mark of the season. The top line's kind of producing at a point per game, but William Eves jumped right back up to an 89, which I'm very happy about. Everybody else, good point production overall. And some guys there aren't performing so well, like Yamamoto, which doesn't exactly make sense to me, but that's how it's working. So, yeah, these guys go from like over a point per game, well over a point per game, to no production at all sometimes, and it's kind of weird to watch. So that's like goaltending we got in net right now. A little sketchy, but okay. So yeah, be back at the halfway point to do another quick update. And if the team's production dips at all, Seider's probably getting traded again. So yeah. So guys, after looking through all these trades and everything, or all the defensemen, there's honestly not too many guys that I could see us making a move for that would actually make sense. Like, we have 3 top-end defensemen here. There's no question about that. It's more just a matter of, is Seider going to be able to kind of grow into a role here? It's hard to do because he doesn't fit the system too well. The only guy that I'm certain actually fits our system properly is a guy like Darnell Nurse in... I can't even remember where we traded him anymore. I think he's in Montreal, isn't he? Yeah. So... like, there's just not too many guys where I'm like, yes, this is the guy to go for. Like, maybe Nurse is the guy to go for. He's putting up half-decent points. He's definitely doing better than Seider is right now. He is 30 years old, though, so that's the other thing with doing a deal here, is that to make a move like this, we would have to toss Shillington into this deal, too, just to up the value enough. But if we're doing that, like, as you can see, they'd have too many skaters, so we'd have to take somebody back. Whether that be like an injured Justin Brook or somebody like that, like a Cale Fleury even. Cale Fleury isn't even that bad. I mean, I'd take him if they want to toss that deal together, but I just don't see this going through. It's a nice cap trade-off for us as well. That's the other kind of big thing, is if this deal did go through. And it doesn't. They would take Seider, but again, they just not getting enough. They're not getting enough value. So the only other thing I could see us potentially offering here would be like a second rounder next year, maybe. That's the only thing I could see that would actually get this deal through, If it does, I'll take it, because then that's guys that fit our defensive pairings way better. And again, better cap space. Only thing is that, Seider is the youngest player in this trade, which kind of sucks, but I think it's a decent trade-off still overall, and they just don't want to take that. Okay. They have a very, very choice selection here on our players and goalies. You know what we could do? We could try a guy like Barkov or somebody in here. If this gets it done, I'm going to laugh. But, yeah, no. They just want more value, which is funny because they're a team that's so out of it, really, is Montreal. Actually, no, they're not. They're in it, totally. So I don't know why they're sellers, but they are. That's definitely a good value trade-off. What I would actually want back is another pick in this. If we're going to trade Hart, I want another pick. So that would preferably be like a third rounder from a team like Nashville this year. Does that go? You're kidding me. Like, Montreal is such a picky freaking team. It pisses me off. Okay, give me a third from Portland. Come on. Nope. They just aren't taking it. It's annoying because all these players, should garner interest as far as the Canadians go, and they're not taking it. So, okay, no pick. If this doesn't go through, I'm gonna laugh. What are you doing, Montreal? You put these guys, like, you say you want to trade, you say you want these players, and then you don't take them. Like, okay, whatever. Is there any chance? Wow, Colorado's pick is valuable right now. Holy crap. I guess they are losing, so. Any chance we could toss together a Cale Makar deal? I doubt it, but you never know. We might be able to pull something off here. So again, Seider, Shillington, and Hart is more than equivalent value, of course. Of course it is. Skaters matching the block. Okay, I need some pretty crappy players here, preferably. Low value guys. Like, yes, Eric Hollow we could take. If this deal goes through, man, like, not only that, let's try a pick. Again, I doubt this ends up happening, but if we can get a Colorado third rounder this year, that's preferably going to be a higher pick. Does that go through? No, it doesn't. Okay, let's just try removing the third, see if it goes. It still doesn't, so we would have to toss something else on top of this, which is crazy to even think about, but it is Cale Makar. He's a very good defenseman. He's offensive, too. That's the other thing, right? He fits all our pairings. Is there any chance we could get, like, a defenseman, preferably? You know what we could try? Is if we can get a two-way that fits our system here. I'm looking at Connor Timmins, but again, lots of money back, right? That's the other thing. That's not all that particularly good. Madison Bowie? Oh, maybe. That might actually be the move. If this goes through, I will take it. If they don't take this, that's insane. This is a blockbuster. This is a huge move we would be making. The only other play or trade I could see us making is sending Lucas Strimbu in this deal as well, which is so many defensemen. But again, we're bringing back two Colorado defensemen that are actually going to make an impact on this team still and not be particularly bad, right? So I'm just looking for all skaters. Who's the least valuable guys in here but could still possibly garner NHL minutes? That's kind of what I'm looking for here. So 3 guys on 1-year deals for Morris Seider, who's on a 2-year, Shillington, who's on a 3, Strimbu, who's a young player, and Esteban Hart, who's a great goalie prospect. We are bulking up the Colorado Avalanche technically with this trade, but if it goes through, like, it's because of Makar, and he's on an extension. That's why they're rejecting this. So if this doesn't go, I'm done. Okay, so dangerous moves here for sure as far as the future goes, but I am not riding, but I'm betting on our team to, not just be good, but to be like dominant here with the trades we've made and the players we've added here. So yeah, as you can see, 2 guys just disappear from our defensive core there, but I like the +3. I really, really like how that looks. I think we move Makar up as well because he is a top minute kind of guy. And then Bowie should be able to cover the bottom pairing. Okay, it's a 0, but that's fine. And then we got 3 forwards there, which is not particularly preferable, but, the team's still looking really, really good. Yeah, so one big move there. We see Makar come in as well as Madison Bowie. And we do move quite a lot of value the other way to get Makar signed up here. And of course, he has an extension coming in here at the end of this season, so we've got him for at least a little while longer. And at 27, he's right in his prime, so I would assume that the team is going to improve more here with the move we just made. So, going to sim the third quarter of the season, see what happens, and move on from there. Okay, guys, so at the 60 game mark, or 61 game mark, I guess it would be at, yeah. McDavid leads the team with 77. Edmonton currently sits 3rd in the West, which makes no sense. The Flyers are killing it. Oh my god, they have 89 points. That's insane. And really, we're losing to teams that we probably shouldn't. Like, we still got a point off the Flyers, but we lost to the Avalanche, which shouldn't have happened. You look at this calendar in general, it's just like, what? Like, Buffalo, Washington, Dallas, or not Dallas, San Jose, 3 in a row there. Lose to the Senators, lose to the, like, what? Man, just so many losses here. That's kind of been just the story of the season here for this team, is that we're losing games we shouldn't. And, yeah, hopefully the boys can turn it around the final quarter of the season here and kind of catch up to Philly and whoever else is on the way. But you look at the stats here, only 2 guys over a point per game at the moment. Eves is close. A couple guys are pretty close, but the guy that's really impressing me this year is Raphael Lavoie. 22 goals already. He's got like 40 points, 39 points. So yeah, he's having a pretty darn good season, I would say. Hatu Ratty, kind of underwhelming. It's just, yeah, it's a meh season overall still for him. William Eves, again on his way, but I don't know if he's going to hit that 70-point mark again, or 75-point mark and 40 goals. That's a lot of points to score. He has to score 12 more goals in the remaining 20 games or 21 games of the season. He's looking like a fantastic player, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, man, he's got to just put away more points, really. That's kind of the main thing right now. So, yeah, last quarter of the season coming up. Not going to make any more changes to the team overall, but like, you look at this team, man, and it should be performing at a top league level, and they're just not. I don't know why they aren't, but they aren't. And yeah, like, come on, man, the top 6 and top 4 for the forwards and defense should be carrying this team. So let's see if it happens or not here, and we'll end off the season here in this next cutscene. Alright, guys, so to end off the regular season, the Edmonton Oilers put up a 50, 26, and 6 record for 106 points, finishing first in the Pacific and second in the West. Overall, I'd say we were tied for 4th place in the league. I believe that is correct. Connor McDavid scores 109 points. Again, that is 6 consecutive seasons. Nobody on the Oilers has been able to beat out McDavid as far as points goes. Draisaitl only scores 86 this year, so slight recession coming for Draisaitl. Eves puts up a 72-point season, so not quite as good as his rookie year. He had a bit of a sophomore slump, but not really considering he's 91 rated at just 19 years old. But he's an absolute monster, honestly. 6'5", 212 pounds too. Like that is the type of player we need. Ratty gets outscored by Lavoie. That is not what we wanted to see, but a 50-point campaign from Bouchard does look pretty good. Same with 43 from Makar. Obviously, those guys are our offensive defensemen. Putting words together that are not easy to say back to back. Anyways, no real statistical growth overall from the team for the most part. When we look at the entire league here on scoring, Connor McDavid is going to win the Hart by the looks of it. I think Matthews, I don't know. I think McDavid might have the Art Ross secured, or he has the Art Ross secured, but maybe not the Hart, as other guys had lots of points here too. McDavid did have a 50-50 season, which I don't think too many other guys can say they did. Trevor Wong, oh my goodness, had 105 points at just 22 years old. That's pretty insane. Tim Stützle got drafted there as well, put up 102. Mark Lamoureux definitely was the reason why St. Louis finished so high this year. Eichel, Aho, lots of big name players here still for sure. But yeah, McDavid finishes right on top by one stinking point. I'm sure that pissed off Tarasenko. As far as rookies go this year, Georges Audet scores 56 there, 37 goals in his rookie year, so not too bad. I'm still pretty choked that what's his name? Eves got snubbed on the Calder last year over Shane Wright. That was such a bad call, honestly, by the league. Carter Hart wins, or he's going to win the Vezina most likely. Samsonov, winning 39 games, finishes tied for third. I guess no, he'd be fourth because he played 2 extra games over Hellebuck. So yeah, pretty good season there. So still though from our, how did they get a low, what? They got a low franchise goalie. I guess he might have been a low elite and went up. Who knows? That is a weird one for sure. Huska, I don't recognize either. Yeah, okay. So that's pretty much the league. Let's take a look at defenseman too to end this off here. Carlson scores 79. That's pretty insane. Okay. Hughes scored 62. Dahlin 69. Lots of bigger point scorers in here for sure. That is a name that's new. Robert Cronwall, 23 years old, 60 points almost. Not bad at all from him. So yeah, that's kind of the player breakdown and scoring. As far as the league goes, I believe we finished tied for 4th. Won't tell us here, I guess. Yeah, we were essentially tied for 4th, but we had 2 less wins. Somehow only 49 wins gets the Sabres into 3rd place. They lost 9 overtime games. That's insane. So yeah, we finished 5th this year. Not exactly where we wanted to be, but to be fair, St. Louis kind of went off at the end of the season and really put up a good campaign. Crazy enough, Lamoureux was playing on the first line and Tarasenko was on the second, but he outscored him. Okay. Yeah, okay. Interesting. So I'd say overall the Oilers are definitely at the point where it's kind of like, how do you describe it? We're going to be like a top 5 team here for years to come. Finished 2nd last year, finished 5th this year. The team's in a good spot. As far as the Condors go, they are polar opposite. 65 points, seen them finish very low. I'm only seeing 5 teams worse than them, so that's pretty bad. And that does not encourage too much statistical growth overall either, so that's never a good thing in the AHL. So yeah, unfortunate. McDavid's 50-50 season does go a long way with this team though, as we are definitely getting into the playoffs. We didn't finish first in our conference, unfortunately, but we got the Portland Pylons up first. that is an interesting one that I'm honestly kind of looking forward to, not going to lie. So, by the looks of it, 5 teams from the Pacific got in, but one of the 3 Central teams won the... Interesting. That's just interesting dynamics there. Yeah, okay. So, we got the Pylons up next. That'll be a fun series, I think, to say the least. And this team, I don't think Portland's got too many crazy players. They got, Russ Coe. They drafted, he's a number 1 overall player. But besides that, Douglas, I guess, is elite. Byfield, they've still got in the system, but he should probably be playing further up their lineup, and he's not. I guess LaRue's been pretty good for them, too. They got anybody else for the draft that was actually good? Not really. They've kind of just built this defensive core from the ground up, and I want to say it should be a walk in the park, but I'm not going to rely on that just based on the fact that they did make the playoffs last season too, and that anything can happen in hockey, because that's really honestly one of the mottos of hockey and why it's such an entertaining game. Sorry for my dog barking in the background. Again, it happens every video, I swear. So guys, I think that's where we're going to wrap it up for this episode. I mean, it was a fairly long season simulation type episode, just based on the fact that we stopped up every kind of quarter of the season and did a quick recap. But, McDavid comes out on top as the scorer, which, that's kind of a regular occurrence, I would say. He's got a couple of awards under his belt for sure. And the team is looking filthy either way. Like, we still have a 90 rated Yamo and Atsu Ratty, as well as 95 rated Draisaitl, 100 McDavid, and like 94 rated William Eves is honestly looking like he's going to be such a good player still. He's got so much potential under his belt still, which is the thing that just blows me away, is that by the time guys like McDavid and Draisaitl actually retire, this team is going to be run essentially by guys like Eves and Ratty and so on. Like, those guys are going to be the corner pieces of this team moving forward. And, we do have a couple defensemen coming up that I'm hoping on. Like, I'm banking on these guys for sure, like Lambos and, Goldobin, Coburn, those guys. Like, those are going to have to play a piece in this team, or play a role in this team moving forward, as, our so-called like franchise corner pieces start to decline a little bit. Like, I'm not saying McDavid and Draisaitl are going to start declining at 30 years old, but by 35, yes, maybe that might start to happen. Depends really on the team we put around them too, I guess. So, not too worried about it overall. The only other thing I didn't really take a look at was Parbacker. That's a guy I'm definitely want to keep an eye on. Still an 82 by the looks of it on his season. He had 12 wins in the NHL, so not bad. He started off with 22 in Bakersfield, was able to get that up to 29 after one season. He still had a 900 save percentage, which honestly is not even that bad in the regular season. Like, as you can see, on 39 wins, Samsonov had the exact same save percentage. Goals against were pretty similar between these guys as well. Just, smaller scale for Parbacker, so that's probably a good thing considering he's only 22 years old at the moment. Still, he's going to be a very, very important piece moving forward as well in this team. And yeah, I think the team is essentially ready to try to repeat anyways. We'll see if we end up against, the Kings would be a tough team for sure. Same with the St. Louis Blues, and those are kind of the teams I'm keeping an eye on because they have some very good players. There's no question about it. So we'll definitely have to watch out for teams, especially like LA. I don't know how good. I guess St. Louis is really good, aren't they? They've got good goaltending too. And decent, I want to say decent defense. They got a decent top pairing on defense. But Lamoureux's insane. Just such a good player overall. And just interesting line combos as well, for sure. Like, they've definitely changed some things up Hellebuck's 87 rated, still at 32 years old. Crazy. But that is a team that I think we're gunning for sure. I mean, technically we have the better franchise player in McDavid, but Lamoureux is well on his way to being at that point. And I believe McDavid's over 1,000 points now. That is the other thing on his career. There's one more thing I kind of wanted to cover, is Connor McDavid at just 29 years old has definitely broken, yeah, he's almost at 1,100, honestly. So he's definitely broken that 1,000-point mark. He was actually one single point off from getting to 1,100 at the end of this regular season. Eves is already getting closer to 200 points there, but he's not at a point per game. Draisaitl well over point per game, but hasn't broken the 1,000-point mark either. Had he scored another 30 points, he'd be a lot closer, but you know, Leon's on his way as well, for sure, but he's no McDavid when it comes to scoring. So guys, that is where we're going to wrap it up. If you enjoyed, make sure you go down below, drop a thumbs up on the video. Also, feel free to subscribe to the channel if you actually made it to the end and enjoy my videos and aren't subscribed, because we are trying to hit that 1,000 sub goal. Also, make sure you leave comments, and also don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss these uploads. But that's going to be it for me. This is Etanyos signing out, and see ya.